Happy Hunger Games! In part 1, we discussed the hardcore materials that make a YA dystopia, as well as the Katniss effect on female main characters, and this trilogy's effect on the YA genre as a whole. If you are enjoying our podcast on these novels so far, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you know what's up. We won't send mutations after you if you don't, but rest assured, we'll be very disappointed in you. Kidding, of course, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm gonna stop holding you up, so let's go. So, can I read you guys the last paragraph of this before we go into the next section with the Katniss effect?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, not everybody wants to live in or imagine a dystopian society.
Not everyone.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Maybe no one.
The dystopian fad may have faded in part because young readers and viewers are ready for some positivity and for less fantastical, simplified problems and solutions. For instance, with the uglies thing, this is like my surface level depiction of what I know of it, which is very little. But basically, when you're like 16 or 18, until you get to that point, you're ugly as heck.
Well, that's not even...
If you want to be pretty, then, you just go to this here tent. They cut up your face. They make you pretty. And then you're accepted into society and you have pretty privilege. But also, you're going to get lobotomized.
The first half of that was realistic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm joking. It's just a joke.
That 16 to 18 thing, that's not even that's not even like a dystopia thing. That's just reality. That's when the pimples kick in, huh?
Yeah.
But also, big time. Huh?
It's like, starts with the nose job. That there's the gateway drug. And then you change your lips. And then you suck the fat out of your cheeks. That's called buckle fat surgery. Don't look it up.
Is that what happens in the book?
Huh?
No, that's real life.
No, this is me. This is coming from me.
Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry, you were saying...
I went on a tangent there.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, you lost me at the buckle fat.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
Buckle. I know how to spell buckle with 2 C's.
Did you finish the...
Young people are mounting more and more sophisticated political campaigns against the real-world dystopic futures they're facing, from the climate crisis and the revival of authoritarian governments to nation-specific problems like sectarian violence, wars, white nationalism, and terrorist attacks. Eventually, it might be possible for authors to take inspiration from that reality and revive the genre in more convincing and compelling forms. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. And it's just also the fact that, maybe take a little bit of a break from the dystopian stuff because it's very depressing.
Unless you're Suzanne Collins, in which case keep working in that dough.
Yes.
Yes.
You deserve it.
If she wants to write happier stuff, that's cool too. I'm sure she could do it.
I mean, wow, wubsy, that was enough for her.
I've had it up to here with child-friendly happiness. I want brutality. I want violence in my literature.
I want maiming and pillaging.
I want maiming and pillaging. Yeah. I want commentary.
And we have talked at length about the typical Katniss effect of some of these main characters, but not just Katniss, like with other characters in some stories as well, how they're all cold and supposedly stoic. Also, they have this one awesome, fantastic freaking skill that wows everybody that they got just really good at when one of their parents died, or one or both, or one of their siblings died, or their dog, or something like that, and they got really, really hardcore.
No, not the dog. I mean the parents.
Yeah. Also, they're really good at these witty, sarcastic one-liners. Like Katniss, she was the first of the YA dystopian girls, I would say, who's very sarcastic and dry and kind of dark with her way of thinking. She's just severe. She's got that kind of personality, which she kind of reminds me of Mao Mao. A little bit.
Minus the Heisenbergness.
Minus the Heisenbergness.
And minus the poison obsession.
Yeah. But where she's always thinking about hunting, for instance. She thinks about, maybe I can throw that trap up there. Something. I really like when her mind drifts off like that.
Yeah, and it's about... and she keeps thinking about, maybe I can get some more food, for survival. And it's both Katniss and really sad.
Yeah. So Triss, I don't know. There's something about Katniss versus Triss that's interesting.
The names.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Keep forgetting about that.
Just call her Beatrice.
Just call her Beatrice.
Yeah, who in the heck calls someone that they named Beatrice that they know named Beatrice Triss?
Well,
I prefer
mean,
Beezus personally.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Beatrice, yeah.
She literally, guys, she didn't want to be called Beatrice anymore because she thought it was a boring name. And she literally had one chance to tell his real name's Tobias, what her new name is going to be in this emo goth sector. And so she said Triss, and she couldn't change it either.
Just you have a
Emo goth sector.
Yes.
Still think she should have
Eric
gone with
is-
Beezus.
He sucks. Beezus?
Wait, please tell me that she kind of regretted it a little bit because it would be
No.
absolutely hilarious. I was
No,
gonna say it would be
there's no
hilarious to be like,
And
like
now she has to be
Triss,
called that.
She has to live with that. There's
Yeah.
no takebacks.
That would be-
There's no takebacks in goth society.
Maybe that's one thing that I had a problem with. Divergent isn't funny.
Oh,
Like, it's never funny. Like, any jokes that they try to make, I never laugh. I never even smile. Not even a smirk or giggle.
or chortle.
Was Hunger Games ever
The Hunger
funny?
Games.
I mean,
yes.
yeah.
Sometimes it was in the driest way possible. It was funny.
Yeah,
You know?
like one thing I think of that I actually, the scene that I quite liked right before Katniss was gonna go out to it was the late night with Caesar Flickerman or whatever it was called, the thing right before the games when she was talking to Cinna. I don't know why. I just really liked the bit with when she was saying, well, like twirl around, but I don't know if people would even like me. How do I make people like me? And then Senna says, I mean, I like you, if that's any occasion. And then Katniss just says under her breath, yeah, well, that's different. I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, I think at one point,
Yeah,
I think
that's pretty
Cinna
good.
said something like, do you even know how beautiful you look? And she's like, no, and I don't know how to get other people to like me.
yeah, exactly. I think also just, feels really real. And given how we've mainly been used to Katniss do the whole thing with being very severe or being needlessly mean to Peter on the train or thinking...
Yeah.
Well, actually, another example I think of was when she's talking to Haymitch about the presenting yourself thing. Katniss thinks it is all stupid, and then they reach the Capitol, and all of like the fawning darlings and fans and whatnot are like waving, and then Peter is looking out the window like this is one of the most amazing things he's ever seen, and he's just like has a sort of
He's so
blank
cute.
he's like smiling. He's like, wow. And he's just waving. Can't blame him given the other stuff he's experienced. And then Haymitch says, yeah, you should learn you should follow his lead. That'll probably keep you alive.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
I just want to say real quick, he's such a ray of sunshine.
He looks like a golden retriever.
Like, yeah, he knew what he was doing without knowing what he was doing. He was doing what he was doing naturally, and I
Yes.
love it.
All you have to do is take a golden retriever and teach it how to bake, and you would get Peter.
And paint. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and paint.
So I've
Decorate.
I've never read Mistborn either, but is Katniss anything like Vin?
You know, I was thinking about that. I think the main difference is the fact that at the start, Vin is like Katniss is confident in her abilities to be able to take care of her family and to be able to deal with things. And obviously she still has like some other issues, but Vin starts out the story just being like
Miserable.
absolutely miserable, and she just zero confidence in her abilities, and that's kind of her growth as a character. Like, she's snippy, but she kind of has to learn to be snippy. You know what I mean?
She doesn't
Yeah.
trust anyone for one thing. Too.
And when Gail suggested, them running away, the only reason why she didn't is because his brothers were too small. Like his younger siblings were too small and they wouldn't be able to keep up. And was his mom pregnant again? I'm not sure. But
These things happen.
no, she wasn't actually.
Oh,
But yeah, I know these things. No, she wasn't. That was before. Like I was thinking about the scene when she saw Gale for the first time after both of their dads died in the same explosion in the mines.
that's just horrible.
Yeah, dang, Suzanne.
Also, it should be noted in terms of the funny department. I mean, Effie is like comedy gold.
She's always
That
funny.
is mahogany.
But in the
yes.
books as well, like her being so ridiculous is funny.
And then putting the filter, the fact that they put the desaturated filter for District 12, which makes Effie just walking in like a pampered poodle. She's basically like a firecracker thrown into a dark room. You're just like, what?
Yeah, and I also like how, with I like the distinction that someone made with Vin. It was you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's me.
yeah, Katniss is definitely a lot more confident.
Yeah,
than Vin.
actually, that was me.
Yeah. Katniss is definitely a lot more confident than Vin, even though they're around the same age, aren't they?
Yeah, she's 16 in the first book. And she is for sure taller than Vin, by the way, because Vin is barely 5 feet tall because malnourishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And constant beatings.
Yeah.
And constantly hiding by crouching in closets for fear of being beaten.
It stunts your growth, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your psychology.
Oh, this poor girl.
Yeah.
These poor girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that Triss, she grew in confidence much too fast. You know, it doesn't make any sense with why she became so confident and so upfront than she was before. I think that she seemed like she was being overconfident, even though her life was pretty good. And I think that's what annoyed me, because Katniss, it makes sense why she had to become confident and protect herself in this way. But Beatrice, she grew up with enough food to eat. She had her full family, you know, like throughout the first book. It didn't make any sense to me why, you know, I get why she doesn't want to be in that community, but I don't necessarily like how she has a good family, but then she was like, I need to discover myself, and then she left them.
What? I forgot
In the
about that.
beginning, she went off to be a
What are
what's
they
it
called?
called?
Domus.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Yes.
what's the cool? What are
She
the cool
was
kids
in
called?
abnegation. And
The nerd club, abnegation. You have to learn math and stuff.
I don't even know what they do. I don't remember. But then
Wait.
she went on to become dauntless because she thought they were cool. And
They-
her parents lost both of their children because frickin' Caleb decided to be one of the brainy types who read all the time, like losers.
Yeah, if you could choose to be injured, getting beaten up by either being beaten up by bullies or blowing out both of your ankles because you tried to jump from a building, from one building to another, which would you choose?
Hey.
Which one sounds better on paper?
Well, Vin chooses the latter in order to get out of the former. So
Yeah. I mean,
if
it's
that's
different for
anything.
her because that's not.
She's superhuman. Triss is just a person.
Yeah, that's magic parkour. This is like, you know, standard. This is like standard parkour. Maybe like, I don't know if it's close to Storor parkour, but it's somewhat close. I don't know why they're doing it, but
Yeah, so Triss, I think she could also have more compassion because there's this one
how bad is
guy
it?
who I just want to say real quick, who I feel sorry for. It was like this guy who was kind of pining for Beatrice. You know, he was about to kiss her at one point. And she was just like, no, she didn't say it that way, but I'm just, you know, but I felt so sorry for him. I think his name was Joe or Jim or Fred or Ed. I don't
name?
actually know his name.
Wasn't it-
Tim?
We forgot his name.
Crap, I feel bad. But afterward, like, she knew how hard this kid was having it. He was big, you know, and dauntless, you know, being big and strong is something that is important, you know?
Yeah, so your
But
ankles can withstand the parkour.
he didn't want to hurt anybody. So he just let himself get beaten, you know, by these people. And he didn't want to fight them. And then, you know, this poor guy just wants to be loved. And then I get that Beatrice liked Tobias. And she didn't like this other kid, but you know, she turned him down, and then she was kind of like, "Oh, it feels nice to be wanted." It's like, what? I would feel sorry for him. I would probably go to sleep crying because this kid who gets beaten up every day just tried to ask me out. I don't like him back.
You know, it's interesting. I think something kind of similar to that, just really quickly. Something kind of similar to that, well, not really, kind of happens in Mistborn, where you remember Spook, who had a crush on, who had a real crush on Vin. Although the
Good
reason
kid.
behind that was because obviously he lived a rough life like all the rest of the peasants of Scar. But the reason why is because you know, he's a kid.
And also get the
And-
impression that she's the first girl in that place that he's met. So
Yeah, and you know, Vin already liked someone else, and then I really like how, as far as character development goes, she let him off. Like, she kind of told him about it. Like after she figured out that he had a crush on her, she let her down like very gently. And
Yeah.
she did it in a very, very nice way.
She did, and I
And
feel
it's
like
and Spook was even like, "Yeah, I saw that coming. I thought, well, but thanks for letting me know."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, do you have any pointers on how to teach me how to do this magic thing that you're good at?" He was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
yeah, I really
and,
like that.
and then they stayed friends. Although I will note that in the Well of Ascension, after the whole
Ow!
thing,
His name's Al.
Al,
That's not
okay.
even
Yeah,
close
that's it.
I thought that's not even close to Fred or Joe.
I was going to say, although I will note
I'm not
that
proud.
in Well of Ascension, I think Spook does say something along the lines of because since Vin is with the guy that she liked, Spook does say something along the lines of, I gotta get a woman.
Does he? Yes, Spook, get a girlfriend.
Yep.
Or I'll just create one for you.
You were really good at that.
Thank you very much.
All right, sorry, Mister, go ahead.
Yeah, all I was going to say, I was going to say this back when you're talking about abnegation and, saying, oh, the brainy type.
The
who's gonna
nerd
wanna-
club.
Yeah, the
Nerd
nerd
club.
And I was going to say,
Nerd
I
club.
was going to say, hey, sister, didn't you categorize, like, me and Quincy as being part of abnegation? Yeah, sleep with one eye open.
Sleep with one eye open and both ears uncovered.
What do I say to that?
Yeah,
It's
next
like-
time.
I don't like the way Quincy's looking at me. I don't even know if I would make it in Dauntless. I definitely would make it against you guys in abdication. Maybe I'll just become factionless.
I twisted my ankle 3 times. I think I can. Maybe I could take hit. Maybe I could. No,
You
probably
could-
not.
Oh, would you be able to jump from a train to a building?
I mean, well,
I mean, I've watched The Great Escape. That's happened. So
I said this before, and I'll say it again, that if I try jumping from a building to a train, there's a good chance I might get sucked under the tracks. So I'm
oh god, it's gonna be like, yes!
oh my lord.
Sorry, we need to
That's
get
a
back
heck
on.
of an image.
We should get back on track, Colin. Where were
Okay,
we?
Yeah.
We already talked about the media, spectacle, and politics already, so I think we can cross that out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we could talk a little bit about the accidental leaders. The chosen one.
This is great.
thing.
Yeah.
No, it's like Harry Potter. It's kind of like that a little bit,
Yeah.
because with Katniss, it's like if she is the chosen one in my opinion, but you know
Yeah.
she's also a total accidental leader, and that's kind of what Harry is as well. It
Yeah.
could have been Longbottom. It could have been Neville.
Yeah.
But it was him. So yeah, chosen one, but also could have been Neville.
Yeah, and in Katniss's case, she's like she's like a mystical, actual chosen one, and more so she's the symbol of the revolution, of the
Yeah.
rebellion, which is way worse, by the way, because then you have to it's
So
like
many targets on her.
it's like Hannibal, basically, where he invaded Rome, and in order for him, since he went through the Alps, it was the Alps, right, he lost most of his army in there, he had to be able to get a new army, which out of the Celts who were being oppressed by the Romans, and in order for him to keep them on his side, he had to continually win battles and beat up Romans in order for them to be like, oh man, Hannibal, you're so awesome, we'll serve with your side forever.
Right.
But if he didn't do that for long enough, then they would start getting bored and start getting flaky. So this Katniss kind of has to do this same thing, especially in books 2 and 3, where people are like plotting behind her back about how they could use her, and then Haymitch does this absolute betrayal after Katniss makes him promise that, look, if anything really bad happens to me in the Quarter Quell, make sure Peter gets out. I don't care what happens to me, make sure you get Peter out. Okay? And then Haymitch promises her, and then he proceeds to miss getting Peter out because the Capitol already has him, and Katniss is the main priority by the people in the Capitol, including the game maker Plutarch Heavensby,
Shady guy.
really shady guy, and they get her out because she's the Mockingjay, and even though they didn't get Peter, it wasn't too much of an issue because they already had Katniss.
Ugh.
Of
Yeah.
course, Haymitch,
He felt really bad.
he felt really bad about it, but the people in this rebellion, man.
Like they are hardcore, and they aren't very good either.
I mean, I get it because the Capitol absolutely sucks. In order to fight monsters, you have to become one.
Yeah.
But maybe hold back on the monster. You remember what happened to Eren Yeager? Oh wait, that didn't happen. That didn't happen yet.
So you're saying they prioritized getting Katniss out of there because she's the symbol of the cause.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and another thing actually that makes this a real trip is since with Katniss, this whole thing started with her making that choice to volunteer as tributes, and which was the right decision to save her sister and everything. But it was an impulsive. But given the fact that it was an impulsive choice, she isn't really ready for any of this, especially with all these curveballs, with the Quarter Quell, and then suddenly she's a part of like the revolutionaries, which is these revolutionaries are basically like the fishes from Children of Men. Even Julianne Moore is even one of them. but they've got money and a lot more fire, a lot more power and influence. And also, this given the fact that she's basically having to do what she did in the Capitol for the Hunger Games for the revolutionaries in terms of having to play a certain part, whereas with the other books, she had to play the part of Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire, star-crossed lovers with Peter, and playing that up, and for the sake of sympathy and
Such a mess.
staying alive. At this point, she has to play the role of being the revolutionary, in which case the other people are trying to figure out, well, this whole green screen thing is like a total disaster. So how are we going to be able to make this sort of thing work? Okay, let's get a whiteboard and put the moments that made us most emotional about Katniss and see how we'll be able to replicate that, which is honestly very meta and so jacked up
The
because
first thing
this
they
feels
talk
like
about is when they singing "Rude to Sleep." Oh man,
Oh.
we didn't get choked up with that. And Katniss is right there.
yeah, this is so jacked up. This is like the sort of thing conversation you'd have about a story or something like that, or like you'd see like a Screen Rant article about scenes that made you cry from that made you cry from like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, or I haven't watched Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, or something like
Attack on
that.
Titan.
But the character is right there. How can you talk about that when the character? How can you talk about sad moments in Attack on Titan if someone is just sitting at the table? I couldn't do that.
If I
Yeah.
had to talk about that, something like that, while my character is sitting right there, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, like they became like the Capitol when they were doing that kind of stuff.
He who becomes monsters, who
Yeah.
fights monsters.
But the fact that it was like, oh, it chokes me up every time. Like, what?
Yeah, of course
Well,
it did.
what?
Of course he did. A little girl died. This is a
Yeah, but Katniss literally saw the
She-
little girl die.
And
You
it's not
don't,
like-
you don't say stuff like
Fade
that.
out of her eyes.
Like, you could say that was horrible. You don't say, oh, it chokes me up. It's like you can say that about like one of your favorite competitors in Top Model getting voted off. Oh, that chokes me up.
Has that ever happened to you? Like you get choked up with?
Only like the months after Malcolm died, everything choked me up.
Okay, well,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
it.
I was watching Top Model around the time I was not in a good place. Well, I was not in a good place. So I felt sad whenever they just cried.
Malcolm was one of our dogs, by the way. God rest his soul. He was a
Yeah.
good boy.
Oh, yeah, truly.
Hey.
So that's just everything choked me up.
You just don't commercialize someone's pain like that.
I think
No.
that's called crossing the line twice. Is that an example of that?
Let's see.
Okay,
The
so
first line would be presenting it like that, as though it's some kind of merchandising spree, almost, but not quite. And the second line that would be crossed in that case would be the person who endured that pain being present for when someone almost trivializes it, saying unintentionally trivializes it, saying something like, "Oh, chokes me up every time."
Yeah.
So did Plutarch say that?
No, it was
Or-
Hamish, which
But-
is also really jacked up when you realize that this is probably. I mean, I'm probably digging too deep and overanalyzing it, but it's probably since everyone's so used to how these Hunger Games work,
Everyone.
and despite the fact they know it's real, they know they're watching very, very real death, and on the screen, everyone still kind of treats it like some sort of reality TV thing, like it's not necessarily really happening, but so you can sort of trivialize it a little more. Given the whole miserable dystopic environment, they probably have the knowledge of, well, my life is pretty terrible, so I can't really say, oh, this is horrible. I can just say that then this is probably the only sort of content I'll get aside from public executions on the news. So,
and plus Hamish, was a mentor for years. So
Yeah.
And he saw like these duos of children dying year after year, and he had to train them.
And he
was basically training them to die.
and alcoholic and all that.
Yeah,
so.
so he was just trying to drown his sorrows and make everything better. Well, not everything better. He was just trying to feel a little better, And he's lost everyone. And we'll probably make a podcast about his book once we read it, Sunrise on the Reaping,
yeah, I'm honestly,
which is
looking
also
forward
his birthday.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm looking forward to that. Honestly,
Yes,
I
yes,
forgot
yes.
about that. Oh,
Wait,
Zip has left the chat.
Reaping Day. That's his birthday.
Yep.
Every year.
Every year.
And it's annual.
Annual. It's awful. I know.
I
but
thought it worked on Thanksgiving logic or
Also,
something. I don't know why.
thinking about how just easy it is for people to talk about death and stuff like that. It's like when Katniss and Peeta, when they were watching Haymitch's Hunger Games, and they talked about the kid who got eaten by squirrels, for instance. We're going to learn about that kid in Sunrise on the Reaping. We're going to learn about that kid. We are going to care about that kid. It's like the difference between saying, oh, a boy who got eaten by squirrels versus so-and-so got devoured by squirrels in front of my eyes.
Yeah, squirrels that crave human flesh.
It makes a real difference putting a name to that victim.
Yeah, I think that like Katniss never really remembers the names of the other tributes. Like she says, the boy who went crazy and started eating his the other tributes, or the boy who got devoured by squirrels, or when like the girl who so and so. You know, they never remember the names, and I just thought that was interesting.
She doesn't even remember some of the names of the other tributes that were in the Hunger Games with her, which makes sense. There's a lot of people. Yeah, like Foxface. The only people she remembers were the only ones I remember too were either the ones she had a personal connection with, or the ones that were in like the higher up into the capital, like because mainly because she thought they had stupid names with like you know Glimmer and that sort of thing,
which people should have to worry about.
Yeah, people she'd have to worry about since they made a team. Which I vividly remember when we watched the first movie for the first time, when it showed the gang of kids that teamed up from districts 1 and 2, like them and Peeta, after they killed that little girl that was by the fire. I specifically remember that. I think it was our dad that said, "This is really messed up because you know if things go their way, they're gonna have to kill each other in order to win."
That's always how it is. Like there's a point that's closer to the end of the games when the numbers start to dwindle, when the careers start turning on each other and just massacring each other, and it's horrible.
I bet it's really messed up, like with the people watching it, because if these numbers start dwindling, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are like, "Oh boy, the careers are gonna go after each other. It's gonna be like, it's gonna get some gladiator goodness up in here."
Oh man,
place your bets, everybody.
Oh man, they picked off everyone else. Great, let's see some real pros do that thing.
Yeah, place your bets.
I don't have a point to make. It's just how it's funny how you went from talking about when you're impersonating the Capitol and giving him a voice, you went from a British accent and just now you gave him a Southern Texas accent.
Yeah, I guess I went from how they think they are versus reality.
Everybody put your breasts together.
Like, yeah, let's go, baby. Also, speaking of which, so something I remembered from Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes, and I just Googled this. Reaping Day is on July 4th.
Oh God! Oh,
so make of that what you will.
And now put in the meme of, oh my God.
Say it.
Say.
I see no difference.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks.
All right. So, shall we talk about the strengths and...
I don't know. That July 4th thing kind of rattled me.
So we were basically talking about the strengths this whole time.
Oh, yeah. I guess you could say that.
Are there any criticisms?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I wouldn't call it criticism. I have like mixed feelings about this. I was talking about this last night, I think. So, first of all, I really like how the books do the thing with the first book's all about the Hunger Games, and then the second book is about the aftermath, and then you gotta go back to the Hunger Games. And then the third book is more about dealing with the propaganda and then living in the stuff with the rebellion, and then more Hunger Games stuff in the actual capital. Very well done. It's very well done. And this thing that I have mixed feelings on is Prim's death. And the thing is that I guess on the one hand, I feel on the one hand, it just makes complete sense to have this because of the overall scheming, the unfairness of war, and how just the overall themes are just how everything sucks. And even though they won, everything that Katniss fought for is basically gone. And just this how it was basically showing how the odds are never in her favor. So it works very well with the themes. On the other hand, I can't help but think that her dying also negates everything that she did to try to protect Prim and save her. But on the other hand, that's also the kind of the point. But on the other hand, I just want them to live a happy life.
And
it's just very conflicted emotions.
I know
because
a
it's
reason.
very well. It's very well done.
Complex.
It's just,
I have reason.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
additionally,
go ahead.
it gives. I just want to quickly say. Okay, if you need to do. Okay, fine.
So, Suzanne Collins needs to have a reason to get Gail out of the picture.
Oh, really?
And I do think that, honestly, I think that may have been a part of it. Like, because it was because of that happening that he was completely out of the equation. Like, Katniss is never going to be with Gale after that whole thing.
Or want to see him.
Or, like, well, yeah, or really want to see him. And he wouldn't want to see Katniss either, because whenever he would look at Katniss, he'd think about what he did to her family. Like, there's no coming back from that. So I honestly think that was something, like, maybe a part of the reason of why that could have happened, because it really makes room for PETA.
Yeah, that's great. So, like, from a writer's standpoint, I completely understand. And then also from, like, an audience standpoint, it's just... And
Yeah.
Did you have something to say? Mac was
I
going to
mean,
say
I think,
something.
and also another thing to add some salt to the wound is how,
great.
it's how, in my opinion, like with the whole entirety of the books, one thing that I actually notice is how there are only like a few select moments where Katniss actually has control of what she's able to do. Like at the end of the first book, when her and Peter are about to commit suicide by eating the nightlock berries. That's the only point where she has like a moment of agency, because basically throughout the rest of the books, her and everyone around her are being either controlled by the Capitol and are under their thumb, or I'm just going to call the revolutionaries the fishes, because children are men, and Julianne Moore's there, and saying revolutionaries over and over again is
a bit of a mouthful.
But
So let's just say
yeah,
the fishes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. So yeah, anyway, the fishes
the fishes.
under the thumb of either the Capitol or them, and she's only able to have like a few select moments of agency, usually at the end of each book. Now that I think about it, the first one being the nightlock thing, the second one with the truly epic destruction of the arena, which is so cool.
Beginning of the first book.
Yeah,
As well. The beginning when she volunteered.
Yeah, and the beginning of the first
Not
book.
the beginning of the second book.
Yeah.
Definitely not the beginning of the third book, I would say.
Yeah, and in the third, but in the third book, I would say, because since she's having to play soldier or having to do her whole propaganda thing with the, if we burn, you burn with us. But again, as we said before, that's because she's a very real person, and crap was really real at that point.
Honorable mention, she wanted to go into battle in order to get a real reaction, and then he's like, and if you die, and then she says, make sure you get it on camera. And then Plutarch, and then Plutarch, nice.
And also the thing with her actually killing Coin at the end of the book.
That was awesome.
So the thing that makes Prim's death even more of a gut punch is because you assume that she's most likely going to be from under the thumb of someone else, because she's doing this whole thing with Gale and sneaking to the Capitol on her own. But then Prim dies, and you find out everything that's happening with it, and all of the chicanery and scheming that Coin, who, as I said in casual conversation, is basically just an ultimate foil for both Katniss and Snow. So now she was under the thumb of not just the fishes, but under the thumb of Coin specifically. And there's seemingly nothing that she can do about it, because the bad guy's been defeated. New government is going to be brought up, and she's going to be, a part of that, but not really a part of that.
Symbolic Hunger Games.
Yeah, and the symbolic Hunger Games, because the cycle of war.
Was it going to happen every year? Or?
Yeah, with the Capitol's children. And that is just the worst idea
ever.
Can
I say something?
Yeah.
So
I think Quincy was
you guys also, real quick, you remember that how Gale made Katniss promise to kill him if he was ever going to be captured, and they just made this pact together.
Oh yeah.
Well, she might want to kill him now if it means anything.
She doesn't want to kill him, though. Like in the books, it was obvious that she was also grieving their relationship. So I thought that was a really good detail. But how he pretty much did get captured, and he was just, pleading to Katniss to kill him, and she had the arrow aimed at his chest, and she just couldn't do it. So I just thought that was really, really interesting, about the difference. I don't know. It's just that scene always shakes me every time I read it again, about how she just could not kill him. And it makes sense why.
Yeah, of course.
And it would have been a sacrifice for the war. But in this case, it didn't have to happen, and it didn't.
Is this in Mockingjay, the book?
Mockingjay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's in the movie, too.
Weren't they going through the crowd together in the last part?
That's right.
And then Katniss just happened to be closest to the explosion.
Well, what happened was, I think they were in the crowd. The Capitol people were going to Snow's mansion in order to stay safe because things were getting really bad. And then the Capitol thought, and then the fishes thought that would be a great idea to attack and start firing at the peacekeepers in the crowd
And the innocent people.
By the way, I don't know much about warfare, but I mean, you really shouldn't shoot at unarmed civilians
You don't
under
do
any
that.
circumstances.
That's a war crime, isn't it?
I mean, I know obviously the Capitol is really bad and it's like raw pent-up aggression. I totally get that, but I mean, it's just. I mean, it's
Yeah. I guess they're thinking, well, they are using the civilians as like a shield, so
Just destroy the shield.
So we
It
should
was-
just get rid of that.
It was done in Andor. It was what else
Come on,
was it
Pat.
done when? Oh, it was done in Mistborn.
It was
Children
done in
of
Children.
Men.
It was
It
done
was
in
done in Children of Men.
Children of
It's
Men.
never good.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's just. Like from a pragmatic point of view, I get it, but when you think as a human being,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
And Quincy, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to ask actually relates to what you were mentioning a few minutes ago. So the whole thing with Prim's death was partially a move on Suzanne Collins' part, so that way she could drive off Gale.
I'm assuming
to make
like that's a total assumption here, but I'm just saying about. I get the other reasons why Gale and Katniss probably wouldn't be good together, because there was this one really good paragraph that can I read?
Go ahead.
yeah, by
of
all
course.
means.
Well, glad we got the books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. It was my idea.
Oh, come off it. Anyway, so it's this really good part in the books when she basically realized that she can't be with him, and like I felt really sad when I first read it, because Liam Hemsworth.
That's why.
That's why.
Look, I was superficial then.
Well, that's fair.
But it makes sense in the story with how it's like crap. They're both not that them both being introverts is like one reason of why they can't be
But they're both
together.
dam-
but they're
that-
both
They're damaged.
they're both very much damaged. They
dang-
both find it hard to find hope.
far too damaged.
Yeah, exactly. And Peeta is the one that always has the hope.
Which
He's
is
innocent. He's pure.
Which
He's
is
sweet.
incredible.
Which is crazy.
It's
Did you see
incredible.
how terrible he looked on those interviews
They
with
weren't even
Caesar?
covering it
Yeah,
up.
they weren't even covering it up. He looked like he'd been starved. They used VFX and like really efficiently in that. He looked he looked so bad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and throughout the whole of Mockingjay, he was so tortured. Real or not real. What's real? Your love for each other is real. Gosh darn it! Like
That was the real.
love story of the century. Aha!
The Capitol thought so too.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, come on.
How the heck does this love triangle work? I mean, like there's so many examples I can think of where
I
it
have-
doesn't work, but
It does
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
but
You read your thing
let me
first.
just read
Yeah.
when she does realize, how she can't end up with Gale, and holy heck.
Holy heckin' crap.
There's a step at the door. There's a tap at the door, and Gale steps in. Can I have a minute? He asks. In the mirror, I watch my prep team. Unsure of where to go, they bump into one another a few times and then closet themselves in the bathroom. Gale comes up behind me, and we examine each other's reflection. I'm searching for something to hang on to, some sign of the girl and boy who met by chance in the woods 5 years ago and became inseparable. I'm wondering what would have happened to them if the Hunger Games had not reaped the girl. If she would have fallen in love with the boy, married him even, and sometime in the future, when the brothers and sisters had been raised up, escaped with him into the woods and left 12 behind forever. Would they have been happy out in the wild, or would the dark, twisted sadness between them have grown up even without the Capitol's help? I brought you this. Gale holds up a sheath. When I take it, I notice it holds a single ordinary arrow. It's supposed to be symbolic. You firing the last shot of the war. What if I miss? I say. Does Coin retrieve it and bring it back to me? Or just shoot Snow through the head herself? You won't miss. Gale adjusts the sheath on my shoulder. We stand there, face to face, not meeting each other's eyes. You didn't come see me in the hospital. He doesn't answer, so finally I just say it. Was it your bomb? I don't know. Neither does Beatty, he says. Does it matter? You'll always be thinking about it. He waits for me to deny it. I want to deny it. But it's true. Even now I can see the flash that ignites her, feel the heat of the flames, and I will never be able to separate that moment from Gale. My silence is my answer. That was the one thing I had going for me, taking care of your family, he says. Shoot straight, okay? He touches my cheek and leaves. I want to call him back and tell him that I was wrong, that I'll figure out a way to make peace with this, to remember the circumstances under which he created the bomb, take into account my own inexcusable crimes, dig up the truth about who dropped the parachutes, prove it wasn't the rebels, forgive him. But since I can't, I'll just have to deal with the pain.
Oh, that is...
Oh, my God.
Emotional damage. That is devastating. That's
the last time they see each other?
So they just never see
man,
each other
that is-
again after that?
How can they?
great job reading it.
Yeah, great job
That's
reading
like,
that.
and that is like chilling. How I think you mentioned that he just threw the idea out there, and he doesn't know, and neither does Beatty. Neither of them know whether or not it was the bomb. It was the bomb that was that they helped create, and they probably will never know. So not only is Katniss haunted by this, so is Gale, and it's just.
Yeah, and Coin's just too sneaky to ever tell them about that.
Well, she won't be saying anything else now.
Yeah, exactly. Her being dead and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so did you want to talk about the love triangle?
Oh yeah. Did you want to say?
Or-
Something? Was it something you were gonna say? Something, Quincy?
No, I said what I wanted to.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you
will
go
say
ahead.
this. I'm usually I usually have some thoughts when it comes to specifically for these sort of high stakes sort of stories. And I feel like, oh, you're putting romance in there. That seems like you're kind of distracting from the main thing, the other forms of tension. That sort of thing. That being said, I actually really, really like this love triangle because it is like freaking jacked up, especially in the first two books, mainly because of how well. For the whole thing with Katniss and Peeta, for the first book, you don't really know whether or not they're doing it because obviously they care about each other a lot, but you don't know if they're like playing up the star-crossed lovers thing based on what Haymitch was saying in terms of making it interesting, and they end up getting gifts and sponsors and that sort of thing. But again, you don't know if they actually really playing it up for that or out of or because of straight up love. Again, they genuinely care about each other, but it's because of the environment and because there's a more than likely chance that there's going to be a bunch of Capitol people being like, oh, those poor kids, let me just give them something. So, and of course, for the sake of survival, they have to play along with that because the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. So for the most part, I think it's mainly that dynamic, and then things get even trickier in Mockingjay when they rescue Peeta. And one thing I remember after they rescue Peeta is that I think our mother could never watch that scene because it's just so horrible. Him choking her, it's just so horrible.
Fun fact: the director for the original cut for the movie had the ending of the movie being Peeta going ballistic and strangling the crap out of Katniss, and then while he's doing that, then Mahershala Ali comes in and hits him in the back of the head. Roll credits. Cut the black. The roll credits. That was supposed to be the original end of the movie.
That would be criminal way. That would be a criminal way to end it.
Yeah, but then instead they ended it by explaining what was going on, and then Coin making that whole speech. And also, let me just say, them infiltrating the Capitol lab during that blackout is so suspenseful. While Finnick, who is one of my favorite characters, by the way, is doing that whole tell-all thing against Snow.
That was actually fully in the book, and all the the stuff that he was saying was apparently so horrible and just so grotesque because he was forced to be a prostitute for the Capitol. It was just was so much that apparently he was saying secret after secret after secret, and they were basically posting it all online. It was actually very, very interesting that when he was done, I think there was like a 5 or 10 second long pause before Finnick was like, I'm done.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy.
Yeah.
He's like in his early 20s or something like that. So this was in the book?
It was in the book, yeah. It was a full scene with that. And then, I mean, I can kind of explain why they didn't pay as much attention to it in the movie with Mockingjay. But
I don't want to hear that.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my
PG-13
But
movie.
it's one of my favorite scenes in the book, and they do this obviously like I said before with her character voice. She doesn't even it doesn't describe all the stuff that he said.
She doesn't
It's
want
just
to remember
secret
that.
after secret because it's all so bad. Well, the scene in the movie where she's talking to Snow is also really good. Remember the thing with don't you think I know your friends are in the tribute center? Cut it off.
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland. Yikes.
Yeah.
I have another thing to read.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, I was gonna say things get even more complicated with the whole Mockingjay love triangle because the fact that when Gale and Peter, it's interesting because when Gale and Peter finally meet, there's actually there aren't very hard feelings between the two because they both have been through a lot of crap and they're mostly like so Peter's like, okay, look, I'm a danger to you guys, and I know Katniss will never be able to kill me. So if I go crazy again, can you just kill me? And then Gale's like, I mean, are you sure about that? I mean, Katniss really cares about you. Yeah, that's why I don't want to hurt her. And he's like, okay, if it comes down to it, I'll do it myself. You got a deal. And then there's a pause, and he's like, so who do you think she's gonna choose? It's like, I don't know, just whoever helps her. What was it that Gale said? Candace is awake and she didn't like it at all.
It was something like whoever she's most scared to lose or something like that.
I think it might have been something like that. So I think they don't become bros, but there's a mutual understanding between them.
Yeah, thanks. At least they're honest with each other. At least they're being honest with each other, as opposed to just being quietly spiteful of the other and constantly trying to undermine or in the other to win the girl over, like Twilight.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm so glad it wasn't that.
Yeah. So after that, I pictured it being like you can't lose. Like, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's basically what it was like.
And then silent fist bump and they go to sleep.
Yeah,
There's normal conversation between. This is normal guy conversation.
Fist bump.
Let's see. I almost found it.
And I also another thing. Once you're ready to pull it up to read the things stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I just really like saying. That I think I've said it before. That I just really like saying is how obviously the classic story of these two guys fighting over this one girl that you've all seen before. And I know there are other girls out there, but I mean just they're not like Katniss though.
Yeah.
Wait, can you repeat that?
I was saying that there are two guys fighting over this one girl, and there are definitely other girls out there, and it's a really messed up situation. But it's just they're not like Katniss.
Exactly.
You can't argue with
Are you
that.
talking about Gale?
Yeah, it was like both Gale and Peeta.
Gale
So
and
it's just
Peeta.
like,
Yeah, they're not Katniss.
yeah.
And so it was Katniss will pick whoever she can't survive without.
Oh, close enough. Good job.
So, yeah. Thanks, I guess. So, there's this little part that's near the end of Mockingjay where it shows, look, Peeta's the one. He is the one. So, it's here. Okay. When I see him, I pull up short. His face is flushed from digging up the ground under the windows. In a wheelbarrow are 5 scraggly bushes. You're back, I say. Dr. Aurelius wouldn't let me leave the capital until yesterday, Peter says. By the way, he said to tell you he can't keep pretending he's treating you forever. You have to pick up the phone. He looks well, thin and covered with burn scars like me, but his eyes have lost that clouded, tortured look. He's frowning slightly, though, as he takes me in. I make a half-hearted effort to push my hair out of my eyes and realize it's matted into clumps. I feel defensive. What are you doing? I went to the woods this morning and dug these up. For her, he says. I thought we could plant them along the side of the house. I look at the bushes, the clods of dirt hanging from their roots, and catch my breath as the word rose registers. I'm about to yell vicious things at Peeta when the full name comes to me. Not plain rose, but evening primrose.
Oh, because she thought it was Snow at first.
The flower my sister was named for. I give Peeta a nod of assent and hurry back into the house, locking the door behind me. but the evil thing is inside, not out.
Oh.
Like, PETA did that for her, for Primrose.
Yeah. So
You know?
she thought it was like a thing with snow at first because
Yeah.
of the rose.
And then she realized it's evening primrose. Like, that's such a small thing, but it's like, you know, it's the small stuff that matters.
It's a small thing, but a heavy thing.
It's kind of crazy just how quietly this book ends. Because
Yeah.
I remember like a video from the YouTube channel Hello Future Me says the way that the revolution ends in the Hunger Games is actually is pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah,
especially given
it's
how,
so realistic.
as opposed to there being like a great big final battle like a la Star Wars or something, or a la Star Wars or something like that, it's actually done a lot more low key because there's like one big final battle, one more giant war crime, and then new government. And then after some more shenanigans take place, then the new government comes in, and hopefully that one's actually stays stable.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing that I found out about these sort of revolutions is that stuff is really shaky at first, like with the French or Russian Revolution.
Yeah,
I mean, Russia had two of them, so
Honestly, I kind of wish we knew a bit more about how the world is after the Hunger Games. Like, maybe Suzanne Collins will, you know, take a leaf out of J.K. Rowling's book and, you know, tell us a little bit of something.
Yeah, I think the reason she didn't do that was because obviously Katniss's mental state with the whole situation.
I totally get
and
that.
she's like you
She
said,
needs peace.
and like I said, she's a character who's very concerned with the present moment and what's going on with her and the people she cares about. So the whole thing of what's happening with the war, all she cares about is that it's finally over.
Yeah, I don't mean a little-
Unfortunately, she's having issues. So.
I am not saying a little something at the end of Mockingjay. I mean, like,
Yes.
outside of the books.
Yeah, I totally get
Article.
So,
Yeah,
like,
I totally
or
get it.
something.
Or like some character, or like characters working to rebuild the new world or something like that. I don't know who specifically. Maybe Haymitch, but
yeah,
who
either
knows?
like Haymitch or I guess maybe have something involving Joanna, given the fact that I'm just saying that because she's one of my favorite another one of my favorite characters, and also the fact that she was one of the people who was a proponent for the symbolic Hunger Games, which is
Terrible
so
idea.
yeah, which makes sense for a character, which it makes it even more of a gut punch because she's just so damaged and, if we're being frank, insane.
I mean, the Capitol did kill her entire family.
But she
Yeah.
refused she
Yeah.
refused to become a prostitute, which is just a horrible
And
sentence.
yeah, then they tortured the crap out of her after capturing her post Quarter Quell. So
So fair.
there's that. Yeah.
But even PETA didn't.
yeah, I really like.
even he didn't want the the next Hunger Games to happen.
I really like how as soon as Coin said like, since we're a democracy now, we'll go ahead and have a vote. What do you guys think? And people was like, no, that's crazy, absolutely not, no.
I really like that. And Coin did not like that one
Yeah,
bit.
and Beatty, I think the words he used were, no, we need to stop learning how to hate. We need to stop hating each other or something. It's like, go ahead.
What you guys were saying about the world of the Hunger Games at this point, I think that it's actually been implied that, first of all, this takes place way off in the future, and
Wait. You mean the epilogue?
No, I mean the Hunger Games trilogy as a whole, and
Oh.
all of the
Yeah.
related material like Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping. It's that this takes place years and years after what we can assume was World War III and a series of consecutive nuclear exchanges, thereby pounding the majority of Western civilization to dust. And the U.S. was intact enough, in the loosest possible sense of the word, to later become Panem.
I mean, Florida and most of the Pacific Northwest, as far as I know, is basically underwater, probably because of the nukes.
Oh, that's
which is
great. I love that.
that is wonderful to think about.
Yeah, I
isn't
love
it?
that. That's great.
That's
Anyway,
going to sleeping tonight. But
I
anyway,
guess that explains why you never hear about other countries.
yeah, because they're so.
It's like
Like it-
Children of Men.
Yeah, it is like Children of Men, except it's instead of Britain soldiering on, it's Pan Am soldiers on, soldiers on. So, and I guess replace the constant commercials and stuff for the whole food looking for the Fugees with commercials and stuff promoting the Hunger Games. Except it's stuff, instead of saying it as like a suggestion, I guess it's stuff along the lines of submit your name, win for your family, or something like that. Do your district a service. Do your district a service. and win.
Bread and circuses.
Or don't. I don't really give a crap.
Goes back to that bread and circuses thing we mentioned earlier. And the funny thing about the bread part is how if you submit your name multiple times, you and your family get more bread.
Tessera.
Yeah.
It's more grain to make bread. Also, whichever district wins, then that district gets a lot more food and stuff and supplies. So that's why one reason why District 12 sucks so much, because they never win. Only 4 people have won in the last 75 years.
Yeah, and they erased one of those from history.
Yeah, so technically 3. So that sucks.
Oh, God, that sucks.
So,
Okay. Stinks.
All right, so where are we at? So where are we at now, anyway?
Wait, to end the love triangle part, can I read a section?
Sure.
Last
Yeah.
section for the epilogue?
I think I'm starting to see which parts are your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's like typical of me, but I just like this romance is just so pure. You know, and I love it so much. Anyway.
I'm glad it becomes pure. Like
Yeah, but it always kind of was. Like
yeah.
everything with these two is just so
Yeah, like it evolves
Sweet and
outside
natural.
of the narrative that
Yeah.
the capital has set.
Yep. Peeta and I grow back together. There are still moments when he clutches the back of a chair and hangs on until the flashbacks are over. I wake up screaming from nightmares of mutts and lost children, but his arms are there to comfort me, and eventually his lips. On the night I feel that thing again, the hunger that overtook me on the beach, I know this would have happened anyway. That what I need to survive is not Gale's fire, kindled with rage and hatred. I have plenty of fire myself. What I need is the dandelion in the spring. The bright yellow that means rebirth instead of destruction. The promise that life can go on, no matter how bad our losses. That it can be good again. And only Peeta can give me that. So after, when he whispers, "You love me, real or not real," I tell him, real.
Oh, that's so.
my
Wow.
gosh!
That's so sweet.
That's beautiful.
That's
actually,
Beautiful!
Thought you were gonna get a
What was the
little
thing about
choked up
the
with
da-
that.
yeah.
I was getting a little misty.
what was the
I'm
thing
not
about
gonna
the
lie.
dandelion? That's so beautiful.
It was what I need is the dandelion in the spring. Like that's Peeta. Like oh my, like that's just so beautiful. And also he's blonde, so dandelion in the spring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, and everything like the way she describes him, and she kind of. I think another reason why she grows to love him is because he reminds her of, Prim. Because Prim, she always saw him or saw her as just the most pure, the most considerate and compassionate person in the scene. The person that she was absolutely sure that she loves, Like she's in love with her and she just adores her. And that's why it just rips everyone up inside when Prim dies, which I'm not sure if I don't know if I like that, in the book. But honestly, it's just they're meant to be. Like I can't see her with Gale, honestly.
Can you pass Catching Fire, please?
Like Gale's got to end up with somebody else, and I'm sure that
like Catching Fire.
Yeah, he does. Apparently, he ends up with.
no. Sorry that. But
no, he
I
does.
don't
I
think I think that Katniss just assumes though. She's saying that she's probably kissing another set of lips in District 2.
Oh, okay.
She's just like, meh. It's like she has a little bit of a reaction to it.
Would he be able to recover from his and Katniss's shattered relationship
Honestly,
enough to take up with someone else?
The circumstances are so terrible. I don't even know,
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't know either.
Because this goes beyond the shattered relationship. He may or may not have had a role in killing her sister.
Her beloved little sister.
Yeah. So
There's no coming back from that.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be
That's-
able to move on or come back from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll never be able to face her again. That's why he went all the way to District 2.
The furthest
and
possible away.
He is helping to rebuild. I'm sure he's trying to be the best person he can be and focus more on, what's the word? On creation of good things instead of destruction of bad.
A story about Gale during the post-war world would be kind of interesting, and I think about it.
Let's bookmark that.
Yeah, make a note of that.
Yeah. Anyway, so I know you guys are feeling the probably the same amount of emotion I felt just reading that last part.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about with how some of these, the most simple sentences can just pack a wallop,
Yeah.
right? Because I felt like I was, getting just struck in the heart multiple times.
So, I was going to say, I think we talked about everything else in this
think
outline.
so.
Although, one thing I will bring up, so you saw a Reddit thing for how the fourth protocol would be like if that ever happened.
Oh my.
The 100th Hunger Games.
The 100th Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Go on, Nick, go on.
Welcome, everyone, to the 100th annual Hunger Games. It's so exciting.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so Mac, did you want to read something from Catching Fire first?
This is
Before I...
Oh yeah, I'm just looking through some of the more of the stuff with the Caesar, with the talk show stuff.
Okay.
I swear this isn't just an excuse to reread this.
So
I swear.
All right.
I swear.
Well, hey, we swear, so that's good.
So there are some that are just obviously like really messed up on here. And
It can't be that bad. What's like one of the one.
100 tributes.
100 tributes.
I've heard that one before. I still can't believe. The fact that I can't believe it, and yet at the same time, that's totally what will probably happen.
Yeah, some people thought, yeah, it's crazy. Like that would last so long. Also,
That's gonna
there's
be
some
a
people.
marathon.
Like one person suggested, like maybe with every person that's killed, they put in a new person and they just keep going until everybody's dead.
How? Wait. What? So wait.
It's like you get tapped in once the other person dies.
That's cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, tapped it. They get tapped in. So that would mean you have to get like 10 tributes. Like 4 was people. There's gonna be the ones who go in first, and then there's gonna be people who are on the bench. Who are like,
There are people on the bench. That's
yeah, exactly.
horrible.
Yeah.
That's
And then
revolting.
and then when one person goes, it's like, yeah, you got to tap in. You got to go in there.
Here's another. As a reminder to the rebels that going to war against the capital meant abandoning their children.
Oh, no.
The tributes will be reaped from parents.
Oh, that is some. Oh, what are the replies
That
on
is
that say?
diabolical.
Ooh, I
I thought-
really like this one. How about to make it even crueler?
I was gonna-
As
no.
a reminder to the rebels that the war against the capital tore their families
No,
apart.
no,
Every
no.
tribute will bring their entire families with them into the arena.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Oh God.
I was going to say something like along the lines of to show as a reminder to the districts of how war tears families apart. Each child shall bring one's parent to the arena with them, or one parent and one sibling, or something like that. It's just
Yeah, that one is terrible.
Or how about
Wow.
or maybe something really bad, like as a reminder to the districts how generations suffer from wars reaped by their ancestors.
Oh, no.
Each tribute shall bring one of their grandparents to the Hunger Games.
This is starting to sound like North Korea. Or something.
It is North Korea. It's already North.
Man, that is so bad.
Wow, I can't. You people are sick. So I.
Or like
As
okay.
a reminder
No,
to the rebels
no.
and how war can affect not just humanity but wildlife as well. They must bring like 2 of their pets alongside.
No.
Okay.
That's horrible.
So,
What
hey,
if
wait,
they
so
don't
just
have any
curious,
pets?
what's the age range again?
Huh?
What's the age range again?
It's like 12 to 18.
Okay, so how about if as a symbol to the districts to show how war ravages the lives of the young ones, the age limit shall be brought down to ages 7 to 15.
The 7-year-olds are gonna get creamed.
That's the point.
Why can't
It
they
would be
make
like
it-
one. Yeah. Okay.
What else is
Okay.
bad?
Fine. We'll make it 7 to 13.
That's a little better.
I guess that's
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
You see
for
that makes
that.
you see that makes more sense. Who
Oh,
would? Yeah.
here's another one. Nerf guns and foam swords, probably.
I mean,
For the
that-
100th
that-
Hunger Games.
That's I mean, that's
I
about-
got, hey, that
that's
sounds
a little
pretty
better.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds
here's another
kinda
one.
cool.
My 100th Hunger Games are siblings being reaped together. I explained why it's so cruel in the other post, but basically, can you imagine Katniss and Primrose against Peeta and his brothers and stuff like that? Of course, only one victor.
Oh, what the crap?
I think I feel a little sick.
What? Yeah, all this stuff. What the crap? What the crap?
Yeah, so the siblings for the victors. That is pretty interesting. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay, one more, then we'll.
And one more, and then I can just maybe let's see. Maybe I can read the Peter's big reveal. You remember with the Caesar?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one person suggested 6 to 12 instead of 12 to 18.
Yay!
That is interesting.
Wait, did you say 6? You're gonna
Ages 6 to 12.
you're gonna have
12.
You're gonna have a bunch of freaking
Hey, what's the
6-year-olds try
what's
to kill
President's
each other.
What's the president's name? The red press officer.
The Reddit poster.
I've seen I've seen like videos of myself when I could barely move when I was 6.
3 smelly socks.
Yeah, a shout out to 3 smelly socks for that post.
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you. 3 smelly socks.
for starting that thread, and I'm
Oh no,
revealing-
not the person who started the thread. The person that said this. There are multiple threads here. It's all on r/Hunger Games.
So if you ever feeling like if you ever feeling like there may be something wrong with you, or you might be a little wacko or something, just search for that thread on r/Hunger Games wiki r/Hunger Games, and you'll find out that there are people who are way worse.
Here's a couple more. With each district being forced to have their own mini Hunger Games, then the top 2 winners move on to the ultimate showdown. Drags out the event in 12 times the bloodshed. Each tribute that is picked has to select someone else to go in the games with them. That means twice as many children and an added drama of selecting enemies or friends to go in. It would be vicious.
That is sick. That's the worst one.
I like that one.
Okay, that's pretty-
Like,
okay,
it's bad, but I like that
So-
one because then you could say,
It's pretty good.
"I want you," and it could be because either you hate the person or you think that you would be a good team.
So either from
Still one
either in the
victor.
sense of
Still one victor.
either in the sense of we can work together and hopefully one of us will win, or I will kill you the moment we get to the cornucopia.
Oh, one more. My idea would be to have twice as much people: a boy and a girl tribute aged 12 to 18, and a man and a woman aged 18 and upwards. Plus, the arena would be brutal. No food, no water, no weapons whatsoever. So they'd have to fight each other with their own hands and possibly eat the ones they killed to survive.
Wow.
Unless they have great sponsors.
How did this get more Oh my gosh, how did this get so... This is jacked up at to begin with. You can't get worse than that. You can't. You cannot.
Yeah, well, I'm not even
How
going to
can-
try to get worse than that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the person who posted this, the person who said this comment is named Crazy Black Cat Lady.
Wow. Yeah, crazy black cat lady. Way to live up to your name.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah.
All right, you want to read something, Mac?
Okay, this is a couple pages long, granted, but this is also great. So, would that be all right?
What do you guys think? Think we're good?
What's it about?
Let's see.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. So
Oh, it's Peter's baby boom. You
Sure.
know-
Yeah, that's a great scene, actually.
Okay.
Honorable mention.
Caesar and Peter have been a natural team since they first appeared together a year ago. Their easy give and take, comic timing, and ability to segue into heart-wrenching moments, like Peter's confession of love for me, have made them a huge success with the audience. They effortlessly open with a few jokes about fires and feathers and overcooking poultry. Yeah. That's pretty good. But anyone could see that Peter is preoccupied, so Caesar directs the conversation right into the subject that's on everyone's minds. So, Peter, what was it like when, after all you've been through, you found out about the quell? Asked Caesar. I was in shock. I mean, one minute I'm seeing Katniss looking so beautiful in all these wedding gowns, and the next, Peter trails off. You realized there was never going to be a wedding? Asked Caesar gently. Peter pauses for a long moment, as if deciding something. He looks out at the spellbound audience, then at the floor, then finally up at Caesar. Caesar, do you think all of our friends here can keep a secret? An uncomfortable laugh emanates from the audience. What can he mean? Keep a secret from who? Our whole world is watching. I feel quite certain of it, says Caesar. We're already married, says Peter quietly. The crowd reacts in astonishment, and I have to bury my face in the folds of my skirt so they can't see my confusion. Where on earth is he going with this? But how can that be? Asks Caesar. Oh, it's not an official marriage. We didn't go to the Justice Building or anything. But we have this marriage ritual in District 12. I don't know what it's like in the other districts, but there's this thing we do, says Peter, and he briefly describes the toasting. Were your families there? Asks Caesar. No, we didn't tell anyone, not even Haymitch. And Katniss's mother would never have approved. But, you see, we knew if we were married in the capital, there wouldn't be a toasting, and neither of us really wanted to wait any longer. So, one day, we just did it, Peter says. And to us, we're more married than any piece of paper or big party could make us. So, this was before the quell, says Caesar. Of course, before the quell. I'm sure we'd never have done it after we knew, says Peter, starting to get upset. But who could have seen it coming? No one. We went through the games. We were victors. Everyone's so thrilled to see us together. And then, out of nowhere, how could we anticipate a thing like that? You couldn't, Peter. Caesar says, puts an arm around his shoulders. As you say, no one could have. But I have to confess, I'm glad you two had at least a few months of happiness together. Enormous applause. As if encouraged, I look up from my feathers and let the audience see my tragic smile of thanks. The residual smoke from the feathers has made my eyes teary, which adds a very nice touch. I'm not glad, says Peter. I wish we had waited until the whole thing was done officially. This takes even Caesar back. Surely even a brief time is better than no time. Maybe I think that too, Caesar, says Peter bitterly. If it went for the baby.
Oh, man.
There! He's done it. Dropped a bomb that wipes out the efforts of every tribute who came before him. Well, maybe not. Maybe this year he's only lit the fuse on a bomb that the victors themselves have been building, hoping someone would be able to detonate it, perhaps thinking it would be me in the bridal gown, not knowing how much I rely on Cinna's talents, whereas Peter needs nothing more than his wits. As the bomb explodes, it sends accusations of injustice and barbarism and cruelty flying out in every direction. Even the most capital-loving, games-hungry, bloodthirsty person out there can't ignore, at least for a moment, how horrific the whole thing is. I am pregnant. She is not pregnant. Just in actuality, that is. Oh man!
Yeah, I wanted
reading that whole conversation,
Genius.
that build up. It's a lot of fun to read too.
Yeah, and one thing that I actually meant to mention earlier actually is that I keep thinking, one thing I kept thinking about is if Peter was like the Mockingjay symbol that they had for the symbol of the rebellion, can you imagine? He would take to it very well, I think. And one of the best things about Katniss is the fact that she's such a real person. Is it's very hard for her to fake these things, and she's not exactly charismatic in the traditional sense.
No,
I mean, she's got charm, but it's not like how
It's gritty charm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like the sort of thing where you're just like, dang, she's cool. She's got like style.
It's like
she's
she got swag.
Yeah, she's got swag. She's not got the charisma.
Yeah.
Peter can he knows how to be fake.
Yeah. It's like
I don't know
looking at
how.
his family life, with the mom that he had, like she's crazy. So he had to walk on eggshells. He had to act fake around that woman, that witch, So it kind of makes sense why he's able to just be fake,
Oh yeah,
kind of turn on. Like he's a good actor. Like he's amazing.
Yeah.
So
you mean the lady who's told him that what was it? She said that District 12 might finally have a victor, and he wasn't talking about Peter. She was talking about Katniss, which just goes to show you how his family life is.
Ugh.
yeah.
What a
Ugh.
mess.
So
let's get should we start wrapping this up.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah, so it's amazing how this was released like almost 15 years ago, I think, right? When was the Hunger Games released?
2008.
2008, yeah.
Yeah,
So about as long as Sister's been alive, actually. Yeah.
Wow, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Just a year over.
Well, 19.
Yeah, so
Or no, 17? 17 years ago it was released.
17 years, yeah.
That's right.
So there's just how, and it's still good, and people still talk about it. You still see people like posting about it, like on writing videos.
And, raving about it.
And then
There's a reason why.
yeah, and I still find it very impressive how Suzanne Collins is still able to like write stuff about it. The Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes is such a good book.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is like, it is very good. I was not expecting for it to be that good, and now it's one of my favorites.
I introduced it to
Yes, you introduced it to me, and I cannot thank you enough for that. It's awesome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I remember that you said that you were putting it off initially because you knew that they would probably just make you really depressed.
you. No, it's like,
Well-
you know how I read.
Yeah.
So I read the beginning.
That's right.
I kind of jump, like I read a good chunk at the beginning, and then I kind of jump around. You know that Disney's Child song "Jumpin'"? I do that.
Abomination.
So I skip to the end. I go back a little bit because I'm wondering how the heck we got there. I read the beginning, and then I have some gas, and then I go back to where I was and read it all the way through. Excuse me. So yeah, I knew about what was going to occur and what was going to happen with Lucy Gray and Coriolanus, and I felt depressed, and I just didn't feel like finishing it.
Yeah, right. Really?
I did finish it later.
Yeah, okay.
But for the time being, I bookmarked where I was at, and I didn't finish it for a while because it was just a lot, It's how I felt with Red Rising. Like, I just felt depressed, when I read what happens a little later, because everything is so terrible. And sometimes I do that with books. I did that with Beartown as well.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a pattern. It's usually the depressing books.
I like to think I'm a pretty optimistic, positive person a portion of the time, and that's what I like to read. I like things with happy endings, and when they don't have happy endings, I at least want the end of the series to be happy. If everyone dies and things are grim and sad and realistic, then I just
grim and sad and
I just want it to be a little bit happier,
Oh yeah.
So
makes
that's why
sense.
I like how Brandon Sanderson books, how Tresses of the Emerald Sea, great ending. Like it was so nice. It was so nice.
Yeah.
And I like those kinds of books. So.
And that's another reason why I am worried about Sunrise on the Reaping.
Well, you're not worried because it's inevitable. From this book, we know about how his Hunger Games are going to go. We get the Sparks Note versions of it, but we're going to get like the behind the scenes. You're going to get the behind the scenes.
Names.
You're going to be like,
we're going to learn people's names.
You're going to learn people's names. You're going to learn all the intricate stuff. You're going to, because is this going to be in a first person or third person perspective?
I think it's in first person.
Yeah, you're going to learn like the exact stuff that happens. And given the fact how brutal and awful this they sound,
visceral. Like
yeah,
Sunrise on the Reaping, though. I'm just gonna tell you right now that the violence is so much worse than it is in the first book of the Hunger Games. Like, it's actually so much worse.
Worse?
How can it be worse?
Maybe this was a challenge to the studios. She's like, try to make this PG-13.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to make a video on
a podcast.
Or a podcast. We are going to make a podcast about Sunrise on the Reaping and the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but we need to read the former first.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be me and Zip who will do that, and then we'll tell the others about it. Because frankly, I think that the less of us that read it is better.
I want to read it.
You can read it if you want.
Great.
All right, so it's majority. We're the majority now.
It's a choice. I guess it's majority now. Okay, fine.
Hey, you know what? They haven't read the other. You know what? They haven't read the other books, so you can't read that one. I'm protecting them.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
So, do we have anything else to talk about concerning this? We've talked about the love triangle. We talked about the Katniss effect. We talked about the politicking and all that.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I think we said all of our points.
I think so. It's been 2.5 hours, so I'd be surprised if we didn't have anything. If we didn't have anything else.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so I think we said everything, and also it is a bit of a revival of the YA dystopian genre that Suzanne Collins is inciting, isn't she?
Because Hollywood wants that. Because Hollywood wants that Hunger Games money, and Suzanne Collins is a great writer, so she's just benefiting from it, and we get the books, so we're benefiting from it.
We are. But
it's a symbiotic relationship, except for Hollywood, because
I'll be completely honest. I feel like this is breaking the fourth wall a little bit, given how the whole thing with the books is going over how people take a visceral, take like a deep intrinsic thrill to watching violence and that sort of thing. So it might be a little bit showing just how correct that was, and it's also the reason why the first movie, specifically in the first cornucopia scene, which is my favorite scene in the movie, barely shows any of the bloodshed because it sanitizes the viewer. I think Cinematherapy brought that up because what we do see is awful, but we don't see a lot, so you're not swept. Yeah, you're not swept up in what the rest of the Capitol is swept up in, which is like the thrill of all of the kids brutally killing each other and that sort of thing, which is also why there's no music.
We're swept up in the horror of it all.
Yeah.
Like the kids who are terrified for their life just before they're struck down with swords.
Yeah, and the harrowing / thrilling music playing in the background.
You can't hear anything. Like when you're
so
when you're scared, you can't hear anything. Like I'm sure you guys have noticed that. Like everything feels like the audio feels like it's buzzed out. And obviously you're not thinking of scary music Because in my opinion, that music or anything that sounds like the music in that scene is scary to me now.
Yeah, that the music that plays in that scene in the movie is the most terrifying music that could possibly play because it's just how falsely bright it sounds.
Yeah.
Is that why you kind of recoil after I play Music for Eighth Musicians by Steve Reich? Because it sounds like that to me.
It does sound like that. And I think that's one reason why I don't really like it.
Oh.
Honestly. That might be one. It's never really occurred to me of why it is that I don't really like it, but that must be it.
Mm-hmm.
And it does sound pretty similar. And that scene is just masterfully crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the other movies are great too, but that scene has always stood out to me.
And also, I'm pretty sure Sunrise on the Reaping, the movie, is going to come out like in a year or two. Is that right?
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be pretty soon.
Way too soon.
Yeah.
And like we know how the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie did.
I wish.
No, it was not really talked about, was it?
Yeah.
No, not really.
I mean,
Shame on that book.
I heard the fan art was really good.
Fan art's great.
And,
The fan art's really good.
it mentioned at length how I don't know what was going on, but the casting seems to be really good. It's a shame they didn't give. I heard they didn't give Viola Davis a whole lot to do because I honestly would want her to see her do the.
I think she had a bit, but I kept feeling like I don't know. I kept feeling like the dialogue when you compare the dialogue in the movie to the dialogue in the book, there's a big difference. I feel like
Dr. Gall is the creepiest.
But you know what? We'll talk about her some other time.
Yeah, and props to the casting for Snow. He looks exactly like how I imagined him to look in the book.
So, speaking of Snow, Ralph Fiennes is playing him.
Oh, that's right.
In Sunrise on the Reaping.
That's smart.
Okay.
All right, that should be fun.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't know who's playing Haymitch. Elle Fanning is playing Effie Trinket.
Wait.
That's pretty good.
Wait, which one's who's that again?
Elle
she's
Fanning.
Dakota Fanning's sister.
Oh yeah, right. That's
Who
good.
did McKenna Grace? Who's she?
Wait, Effie shows up in the book?
Evidently, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Cool. McKenna Grace, do we know what she's been in? Oh, Gifted. Remember?
Oh,
the little girl?
yeah.
Yeah, she's in Gifted.
And what about Haymitch?
Haymitch, I don't know this guy. Joseph Zada.
Oh wait, new actor. Okay.
Let's see if he was in. No, he wasn't in anything that we have watched, but hope he does good.
Yeah, you got this, boyo.
Yep. So okay, the Ralph Fiennes especially is that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Maya Hawke, remember she played Robin in Stranger Things season 3. She's playing Wirus.
Wirus?
Wait, is that the girl that?
Her parents are Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke.
Huh. I didn't even know that was. Anyway, I can see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Those are some serious genes that she's
I
working on.
know. Like, oh my gosh.
It's like working on something like how can we working on like this sort of the chemical procedure to make the most attractive person.
Yeah, but also to like she's talented. Like she can act. So Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, he's like he does some theater stuff, I think, but he's also a director and writer, and they're very talented people. So
I think
I'm not surprised she's
as
good as she is. Oh yeah, he played the main character, this boy who's scared all the time.
Wasn't he
best friends with Neil?
Wasn't he also in what's the one with Denzel?
I see. I feel like I know.
Training Day.
Yes.
Oh, he was in Training Day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. But
right.
Anyway,
so we're going off tangents now.
It's kind of a stacked cast.
Yeah, and Jesse Plemons is also in it, so I'm kind of afraid now.
Who's
Okay.
that?
Todd Alquist from Breaking Bad.
It's so funny that his name is Todd. That his real name is Jesse, though.
Yeah.
All right, this was a really good discussion.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Looking forward to when we could talk about the other two books.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
we'll bring a box of tissues in addition to the books for the next one.
Yeah,
And
there'll probably be a lot of silences as well.
Imagine
Because it's just gonna, horrified silences.
Yeah.
It's just gonna start with "Welcome to 4G 1G." We read Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yeah, we promised
totally be
that's
how it
how we'll
begins.
open it. All right. Well, we got some Hunger Games fan art to look at.
Yes.
So thank you so much, lovely listeners, for tuning in with us.
Happy Hunger Games.
Yeah, happy Hunger Games. If you're still here, the odds are in your favor.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Happy Hunger Games. Farewell.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, good job.
Nice.
Goodbye.
Welcome to the preview. Our next podcast is a special one, releasing on Easter Sunday. We're talking about a show that's very close to our hearts, one that we and so many others our age have loved since childhood. We hope you'll join us as we celebrate the anniversary of Jesus' resurrection and take a trip down memory lane following old Yellow McToad and revisiting the silly, heartfelt, and deeply memorable world of VeggieTales. As always, thank you for listening, God bless, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.